Okay, so go ahead and find a nice comfortable seat and let's scoot forward in the chair a little bit today so you can really start to find those sit bones root down, glance down at your feet. So you want to land with your legs about hip distance apart so your ankles are landing underneath your knees. And right away, let's just roll the shoulders out a little bit here. And just see how everything is feeling. Usually I always put a bit of tension starting out. And start to switch directions. Good. Roll back again a few times. And then just allow your shoulder blades to release down your back. Take your hands on your thighs. Allow your eyelids to close here. Let's all take a nice deep inhale through the nose. And open your mouth side, breath out, let it go. Ha. Smooth, full, deep, steady inhale. And sigh the breath out. Ha. A couple more times like that, just at your pace. And then you're going to start to find the rhythm of your JaBoYo breath. So you're going to inhale through your nose. And you're going to exhale through your nose. You begin to create that soft pressure there in the back of your throat. So finding a JaBoYo breath if that feels good. So that's a nice heating breath that causes a little warmth inside the body. Some days it can feel like too much. So if that's where you're at, you're just keeping a nice steady inhale and exhale through your nose. It's a little less effort. Maybe just allow your attention to go to the sounds that are happening around you in the room you're in. Get curious about them. Maybe identify their source. Maybe just noticing how many layers of sound there are. What stands out, what's more in the background. And then really bring your attention to that sound of your breath. So much so that it drowns out the other sounds that are happening around you. And as you've started doing that, as you've started to put your attention on your breath, perhaps it's gotten distracted by the sound, the thoughts, the words happening in your mind. So maybe pay attention to those, kind of see what they're about. Just the dull-minute thoughts. That's the stuff that's sort of underneath the less important things, less troubling things. And again, just bring your attention back to your breath. So it starts to kind of just mute any of the chatter happening in your mind. It might be a little more difficult to find than kind of screaming out the stuff happening around you physically in your room. Maybe it's easy to drop into a place of stillness today. Maybe it's a little more challenging. So always shifts in our yoga practice happening every time we show up. And the important thing is to try and to notice, and then to also just be okay with where you're at today. So let's take one more deep inhale together. And this time open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go off. And you're gonna gently blink your eyes open. And then let's just move into some cat-cow right away today. So as you inhale, you're gonna find that arch in your spine. You're gonna rock forward on your sit bones. You got this openness across your heart and chest. Exhale, you round it, so moving in the opposite direction, chin towards chest, stretching the back side of the body, the spine. And then continuing like this. And the movement might start really small. But as you begin to move, to warm up, you might find a little more movement in your spine. Enjoy how it feels to find this rhythm in your body as you begin to connect movement with breath. So this is how you create vinyasa. If you've lost that thread of your breath, bring your attention back there. And then you're recommitting to finding that idea of ujjayi, so constricting the sides of your throat. Good, and then as we continue here, if you'd like to add your arms to start to warm up the shoulder girdle a little bit, maybe just one arm at a time to start. And you don't have to reach it very high, just kind of see what feels good for you. And again, as we take several rounds here, maybe you start to find a little more movement. Maybe you find enough movement and you let the arms go. Good, and if you'd like to eventually add both arms at the same time, you're always welcome to do that as well. That might help you feel like you're getting into your core a little more. And as you know, you all practice a lot. You've been doing this for a lot of years. You're really good at knowing what you need. You always take breaks if you need to. You always skip poses if you need to. Let's play with different variations. So let's take a few more rounds if you're doing both arms. If you're going side to side, do like one or two more to each side. So probably end on your left side. And then you'll just come back to a nice tall seat. So finding your mountain pose. And then let's get into the neck a little bit here. So go ahead and allow your chin to drop towards your chest. And as you're doing that, feel your shoulder blades release down. So the shoulders always love to get involved here. And you might just find starting out is the tiniest tuck of your chin. So The neck, the muscles in the neck, pretty small relative to what they're holding up, the brain, the skull. So they do a lot of work. So I'm kind of just giving them a little love, but they can be really tight starting out. Visualize your breath going to the back of your neck, especially that exhale, just creating some space, combing out any tangles. Slowly but surely, maybe it feels as though your chin releases down a little more. It might be the tiniest amount. It might be more of a thought than anything. And then keeping your chin tucked, moving nice and slow, take several breaths to bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. So no hurry. Taking the scenic route. You're stopping along the way. Those places that are interesting, you're going to hang out there a little bit, give it a few breaths. Maybe give some spots where it's pretty intense. The breath almost catches. Keep it moving. Good. If you'd like to release your left fingertips off your thigh, you're welcome to do that. So that might just add a little bit of intensity, a little more stretch. It might shift where you're feeling things. It also might just feel like too much. And if that's where you're at, you just skip it. You put that hand back on your thigh. Good. Finally, for a few breaths, if you'd like to take your right palm gently on top of your head, apply a little pressure. And that might kind of be like pulling slightly forward into the side. Keep breathing. Always mindful that if it's too much in your body today, you don't do it. That's okay. Let's take our right palm to our cheek. Upright your head. Good, both hands come to your thighs again. And as you exhale, you release your chin towards your chest. And this time, maybe see if you can press those shoulder heads back behind you. Imagine that there's a wall behind you and you're swinging your shoulder heads back into it. And even as you're dropping your chin towards your chest, might you be able to lift your chest towards your chin? So getting a little more stretch into the thoracic. And then moving really slow. No rush. Begin to bring that left ear towards your left shoulder, keeping that chin tucked. Pausing, taking several breaths in the places where things get a little interesting. Interesting is such a good word. Things can be interesting or interesting. You know what I mean. Getting curious about how this side looks different. Maybe you release that right palm down. So just letting your fingertips dangle towards the earth. Perhaps feeling an intensification of the stretch in certain places on that right side of your neck. Keep the breath moving, especially if this is intense in your body. And then perhaps you take your left palm on top of your head. And again, it's kind of like you're pulling almost like at a diagonal. So you're releasing the head towards that left knee. Assuming that this feels okay. And as always, if it doesn't, you don't do it. We always remember that side to side poses can look really different. Week to week, they can look really different. Then let's take our left hand to our left cheek. Just upright the head. Oh, give everything a little wiggle, roll out, whatever feels good here, a little free form. Good. And then let's go ahead and just start to make some circles in the pelvic girdle, which also always feels so good. Start them small and then get them bigger. Just enjoying this fluid movement. Maybe noticing that play that happens on your sit bones as you shift from one side and then to the other. Good, and then let's slowly start to switch directions. Good. You can just start to make your way back to a nice tall seat. So let's find a little hip stretching here, and we're going to combine that with some shoulder stretching too. So a couple of options, just depending upon what works better in your body. You can open up that right leg, so you're getting this external rotation. And you just open it to the extent that feels good. Do make sure that you're landing with your knee over your ankle. You want that alignment. You can take your right hand, gently press back. That might help you to find a little more stretch and opening. Conversely, if you can come into your seated pigeon, you're welcome to do that too. So you're going to cross your right ankle above your left knee. And then this time you might be taking your right hand and then gently pressing down. So hips can be really tight, depending upon the version that you're doing. You might be feeling the stretch in some other places. So on the seated version, you can get some sensation in the knee. You want to make sure that it's not bad sensation. You can kind of protect the knee by making sure that you're flexing this right foot. That's going to help to do that, so it engages the muscles around the knee. Conversely, if you are in this variation here, you might be getting a little more stretch on the inseam of the leg, the groin area, which can also be quite intense. And again, if it feels helpful to kind of firm up the muscles in that leg, you can play with that. Especially if you're getting any sensation in the lower back that doesn't feel good, you might want to just work muscularly a little more. Okay, so whatever variation you're in, let's just go ahead and inhale, stretch the arms out wide. And we're going to give ourselves a hug. We're going to take the right arm underneath. Good, so elbows back. You're holding the outer edges of your shoulder blades. And then maybe just start to lift the elbows up any amount. Gaze is just often gentle. You're gazing at something in front of you. Almost like your vision is a little blurry. If you'd like to here, you could bring the backs of your hands to press together. A couple of us might even press palms together to like really pretzeling the arms. Depending upon how you're built, depending upon how tight your shoulders, the neck is, you may or may not be able to do that. So it doesn't matter what stage you're in, it's all doing is essentially the same thing. As long as you're feeling something in your body, you're where you need to be. Little check in with that breath again, make sure that it's flowing nice and steady. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your nose. Good. From here, let's exhale. Little twist of the upper body to the left. Keep those shoulder blades releasing down your back, squeezing in towards each other. And it's interesting, so just twisting like this, you might notice that it has shifted where you're getting some stretch in your lower body. So becoming cognizant of that. Now let's just kind of do a variation of Paraplegia. So Paraplegia, our extended side angle pose. So inhaling, stretching your arms out wide. And then we're gonna hinge forward at this right hip crease. You're gonna bring either your hands or you can even bring your forearm to that thigh. And if you're here in this variation, it's kind of the same feel. And then you're lengthening through this left side, really stretch through those left fingertips. As you're doing all of that, can you wrap those right ribs up towards the ceiling? These look fantastic. Finally, you might be gazing up underneath your top arm. Continue to Paraplegia, extended side angle pose. As we inhale, we upright ourselves. Exhale, go ahead and release the hands down. Let's roll the shoulders a few times here. And then one final little thing here, just to get a little deeper into the hips, we're going to find a bit of a forward fold. So hands can come to your legs. Try to keep your spine long as you hinge forward. If you do have blocks handy, you could place those in front of you so hands could come there. And again, you could be doing that in this variation as well. And it doesn't matter how far you forward fold, you just go to that place where you're getting some stretch. Breath smooth and steady. Right as you inhale, you're gonna upright yourself. And then one final little thing here, let's just find a little reverse warrior. So as you inhale, lean off to the left, take that right arm up and over. Feel that right shoulder blade release down your back, squeezes into the left shoulder blade. It's getting all of this lengthening on the right side. And then maybe you're rolling those left ribs up towards the ceiling. Maybe you're gazing up underneath that top arm. Beautiful poses. You look excellent. Inhale up. And then as we exhale, we release down. And then we're going to come into our second side, which could look different. So again, you can just open up. It's almost like a warrior two leg here. We're just looking for this external rotation in the left leg, and you're going to feel that stretch. Left hand might gently press back. I'll help you find a little more hip opening. Or your seated pigeon pose. Crossing left ankle above your right knee, flexing the foot. Again, that helps protect the knee joint. So some of us can feel a little tender. And then just taking several breaths here, observing how you feel on this side as opposed to the other side. And then to distract us from the stretching that is happening in the hips, let's get into the shoulders a little bit as well. As you inhale, take the arms out wide. Give yourself that hug again. This time, left arm comes underneath. So elbows back. So this basic shape, start to lift elbows up as shoulder blades release down the sides or down your back. You're lengthening through the sides of your knees. Check in with your breath. And you're welcome to stay here like this. If you wanted to bring the backs of your hands together or palms to press. So a lot of that, again, just has to do with how flexible muscles are, how long the bones are. So many things come into play. So just because you're not, in the pose that you think that you're supposed to be doesn't mean that you're not doing good work. So as long as you're feeling something in your body, that's the pose. Smooth, deep inhale. And then as we exhale, we twist the torso to the right. It might just be the tiniest amount. If you need to take a break, you need to lose the arms, you do so. Inhale back to center. Release the arms out. Good. Give them a little roll out. And then we're going to find that variation of Parsvakonasana again, so that side angle pose. So you can have your left hand resting on your left thigh, and maybe you come to your forearm. Good. So we start to spin the left ribs up, and then take that right arm up and over any amount. So slightly different version of this than what we usually do. Kind of the same basic idea. Pretty big pose. I found this pose to be a little hard to love at first. It's like it has to grow on you. Let's take one more deep inhale. Full exhale. Open your chest up a little more towards the ceiling. And then inhale, take the arms out wide. And then we find our reverse warrior. So kind of the same basic premise in the upper body. Of course, we're just going to the other side now. And so we're getting all of that length through the left side. We're trying to keep a little of that length through the right side. We're also finding a little bit of that twist. So many similarities between all of the poses. Really lovely. And so let's inhale, come on up. And then we're going to find that forward fold. So you start to hinge forward any amount. Hands can rest on your legs. Ooh, this is intense. Again, you might be taking your fingertips, palms to blocks. Blocks are great because they have different heights. You might be sitting pretty upright and getting a really good stretch. Hips get really tight. That is true for most of us. Inhale, slowly roll on up. All right, so go ahead and uncross that left ankle. So let's do a little more hip opening with this idea of getting shoulders involved. So you may or may not need it, but if you do have a strap handy, you can go ahead and grab it. And if you don't worry about going and finding one. You could use like a sweatshirt or a tie or a scarf. Like I said, if you don't have one close, don't worry about it. Let's see here. Go ahead and start. If you do have the strap, you're just going to place it over your left shoulder. Perfect. All right, so we're going to open up this right hip. So coming more into warrior two. So you may have already been here already. That's okay. Again, it doesn't matter how much hip opening you get. That's going to be determined by how your body is feeling today. Do land with that right knee over your ankle. This left leg can stay bent exactly where it's at, so it's more neutral. If you wanted, you could extend that leg straight. You might be able to take that leg off to the side. If you're doing that, you're going to roll to the inner edge of the foot. So whereas we're getting the hip opening of this front leg, we want this back leg more neutral. And then you just want to make sure that your torso is nice and upright. So you're kind of squaring your torso to your little Zoom box. Good. Let's inhale, take the arms out wide. And it feels counterintuitive, but really squeeze them up within your arms. So firm them up. So you're firming muscle to bone. So it feels like you're working harder, but it almost makes it a little easier to fold those arms up. For a couple of breaths, just start to bring your gaze. You're just turning your head, just your neck, nothing else moves. Looking out over those right fingertips. So just for a couple of breaths, let's find a reverse warrior here again. So flip your right palm up. As you inhale, right arm up and over. In this version, you might be able to go just a little bit deeper. Spinning those left ribs up. Really nice work, everyone. Let's inhale. Take the arms out wide, upright yourself. So warrior two. Good, exhale, release the arms down. And then we're going to inhale, stretch that left arm forward. Spin the palm to face behind you. Bend the elbow. So this is where you might grab some straps. So let's all just take our right hand on top of the right elbow. Left elbow, I'm sorry. If you can get your right hand on your right elbow, you have mad skills. Or a broken forearm maybe, which we don't want. Okay, so this might be good. This might be enough little shoulder stretch. If you'd like to open up that right shoulder a little more, take that arm out. Do the thumbs down. Good. And then go ahead and reach that arm behind you. So this is where you can grab a strap. Doesn't need to happen that way. You can simply be pressing your left palm kind of into that upper left shoulder blade. And then the back of your right hand into your lower spine somewhere. As those two things are happening, you are lifting your left elbow up towards the ceiling. And you're pressing that right shoulder back. One arm is internally rotated, the other arm is externally rotated. Breath smooth and steady. If it doesn't feel good, you take breaks, you release it, you skip the arms. Okay, so deep inhale. As you exhale, find that idea of reverse warrior again. But keep your arms in this variation, maybe lean your head back into that left arm. And go ahead and release. Find that full expression of the pose again. It is a lovely pose, this reverse warrior. If we inhale up, Virabhadrasana 2. Exhale, just release your arms down. We'll make our way back to our mountain pose, and we'll set up for our second side. So if you were using a strap, you are welcome to move that over your right shoulder. And again, not necessary to have it. Let's find the external rotation in this left leg. And again, remembering side to side, you can feel really different in your body. So you just might be, just getting a tiny amount of movement. That's absolutely fine. You can take the leg straight variation. You could open that leg up, and then you're kind of rolling to the inner thigh. And you can see how I'm kind of leaning forward here. So I'm going to upright my torso, spin it to face forward. So pretty upright here. You can just imagine like that you're just releasing your tailbone down to the ground as you're stretching your sternum up towards the ceiling. So you're finding all of that nice length. Inhale, arms reach. Again, from muscle to bone, so arms are really, really active here. That being said, when you get tired, you release them down. And bring our gaze out over that left arm, those left fingertips. So head is the only thing that changes. Breath smooth and steady. Really listen to that sound of your breath. Good. Flip your left palm up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, find your reverse warrior. So length, stretching, lateral stretch for this left side. Beautiful work as you inhale. Back to reverse warrior. Exhale, you're just going to release your hands down. Inhale, stretch that right arm forward. Spin the palm to face behind you, so we're getting that internal rotation at the shoulder. Good, go ahead and bend that elbow. And then you can take your left palm on top of the elbow, gently press down. This is so different. Okay, if you wanted to get that left arm involved, stretch it out, to the thumbs down. So we're externally rotating at that shoulder socket. Then maybe grabbing the strap, maybe pressing the back of your hand into your lower back, and the palm of your right hand into your upper back. So really leaning that left shoulder head back. And then I find that reverse warrior situation again. It's a little different with the arms like this. You might even feel the stretch in some different places. You're going to release the arms. Visiting our reverse warrior again. Beautiful, beautiful work. Inhale up to center. And then exhale, release the arms down. Okay, so make your way back to your Tadasana mountain pose. You can get rid of your strap if you were using that. Let's do a few rounds of sun salutes, after which we'll kind of move towards a breathing practice, but we'll do a little twisting before that. So for half sun salutes, if you like to have your blocks On either side of your feet, that can be really nice. Just a nice way of bringing the floor a little closer. Again, not necessary. Always can make do without them, but they can be handy to have sometimes. All right, so sitting nice and tall, let's release our arms by our sides. We've opened up the shoulder of the chest area a lot today. So feel that width across your heart. Inhale, arms reach out and up. Nice and graceful. As you exhale, you can swan dive in. If that doesn't feel steady and safe, you can just use your hands to help you slide down. Chin towards chest here. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, we fold back in. And as you inhale, you can reverse swan dive out, or you can use your hands to help press you up. Take up space here, maybe gaze up, press palms. And then as you exhale, you can take your arms out wide if that feels good. You can bring palms together at your heart. Beautiful. So our Ardha Surya Namaskar, half sun salute. Let's do a few more of these. Inhaling, reaching up. Just moving nice and slow with the breath. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, lengthen forward. Nice work. As you exhale, fold back in. And then inhaling back into your extended mountain pose. Maybe gazing up, maybe pressing palms. Exhale. Hands come to heart center. Samasthiti, even standing. 3 more of these on your own. I'm not going to cue you. If you're not feeling like you want to do 3 sun salutes, you can move back into cat and cow. So just keep it really simple. You could close your eyes and sit quietly. You could do any other little stretch or asana that feels good to you. Really let these feel spacious, grateful, and luxurious in your body. Sounds good. So like our daily yoga vitamins. There's absolutely no rush to get there. When you're done with your 3rd round, just pause with your palms together at heart center, eyes closed. Just noticing how you feel. Blink your eyes open. Just release your hands down to your thighs. Just one final, just super basic twist here, which should feel really good after everything we've done. So let's inhale, take the arms out wide. Exhale, little twist to the right. So from here, you can release hands down. Left hand can come to the outside of the right thigh. If twists are a little more challenging in your body, left hand just comes to the inside of your left thigh. You're finding leverage with your arms to find that cobra pose feeling across your heart and chest. So shoulder heads press back. Sternum lifts up. Really see what's in front of you. You might move towards bringing your gaze out over your right shoulder. Deep inhale. Exhale, unwind into center. Inhale, take the arms out wide. And then exhale, twist. Eventually just releasing your hands down. And that front hand can go a couple different places. The side might feel different. Try to keep your spine really nice and long here. Right? In fact, you can think of the inhale helping to give you a little length, a little space. And then maybe moving towards bringing your gaze out over that left shoulder. Just keeping your gaze soft and gentle. Deep inhale. And exhale, unwind. So finding a nice comfortable seat here. We're going to do our box breath today. So 4-part breath. So just find a place where you feel comfortable and easy, like there's space for the breath to move. Allow your eyelids to close. And then we're going to inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So continue on your own. So that might mean that you stretch it out a little bit. Maybe it means contract things a little bit. You're just moving the pace that feels good for you, and just silently counting the breath in your mind's eye. And you're welcome to do 3 or 4 rounds. You can keep soft, especially in your shoulders, even as you're retaining the breath holding. Honestly, probably is if this box breath work isn't happening for you today. You can just be inhaling and exhaling through your nose, nice and easy. We're all moving in that direction eventually. So when you feel complete with your box breath, which is a nice calming breath, it's a good breath to do if you're feeling a little stressed out, a little anxious. And again, eventually all moving towards the final resting pose. So some form of Shavasana. So you might not change anything here. Kind of just change the feeling inside your head, even inside the body. So you're moving towards a more restful place of no effort, place where you're allowing the work that you've done this past hour to kind of assimilate into your bones, into your body, into your brain. You can also think of Shavasana as the transition. So it's the transition out of our yoga practice, of the work we've been doing this past hour, into the rest of our day. So our days, our lives are full of transitions. Sometimes they can feel a little tricky. It's always nice if we can just gently ease our way in that direction. Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurmamritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Let your next inhale be deeper. You can open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go off. You can start to bring some gentle movement back to your body, whatever that looks like. So wiggling fingers, toes, circling ankles, wrists, stretching out, any or all of the above. And then you're going to eventually land with your hands in a pile on top of your heart. And so just checking in, noticing how you feel differently than when we started. So hopefully it feels as though there's more space inside your body. There's a greater sense of ease. You're feeling a little calmer. Your breath is feeling steady, spacious. You might even be feeling a little sense of joy. So soak all of that in. Send yourself love and gratitude for showing up, for creating that. Send each other love and gratitude. And finally, let's just promise ourselves we're going to carry this good feeling with us the rest of the day, week, weekend ahead. And finally, just bow your head with a smile. Beautiful work today. Thank you, everyone. Good to see you.